Welcome class, and here we are starting our 10-5 notes over surface area, pyramids, and cones. And tonight you'll also be responsible for doing 10-7, which is volume of pyramids and cones. So to start with, we do have a little bit of vocabulary. The vocabulary is for both sections, so we'll get this knocked out. And anytime you want to push pause and get it all written down, then go ahead and do that. And I'll just kind of talk over it. So remember, you don't have to write the complete definition. Write the parts that you need or abbreviate it to your words. Use abbreviations where you can and shorten it up where you can. I also have in here the textbook page number, so if you want to go back and refer to your textbook. Okay, so you can go ahead and push pause. There are 10 words. So right now you can see just 9 of them, and I'll make sure I slide them up. But I want to start with the pyramid. So vertex of a pyramid, that's that point in the pyramid. So I'll try to sketch out a pyramid over here. This is this point right at the top. And sometimes you'll see it in this orientation, or if the base is on top and this is at the bottom. So vertex, that's where all the lateral faces meet. All right, then we have a regular pyramid. Those are pyramids who have regular polygons as bases. Then we're going to talk about a slant height versus a different kind of height or altitude. So slant height is the little cursive L that you'll be seeing in the formulas. And then the altitude, just like the altitude of a triangle, that's going to be the H in all the formulas. That's actually the part that goes perpendicular from the vertex to the base. Then you have those same kind of heights and slant height and altitude for cones. Again, you also have a vertex of a cone. And then they also have what's called the axis of a cone. This goes from the vertex to the center of the base. Then we have right cones versus oblique cones, just like we had right versus oblique prisms and cylinders. Then you have the slant height of a right cone. Again, that's going to be the little cursive L that you'll see in your formulas. And then the altitude, that perpendicular distance. So that's just the H in all your formulas. Okay, so if you needed to, go ahead and pause. Make sure you get all the vocabulary down, and then go ahead and push play, and we're going to start with our little handouts. All right, so I'm going to layer everything up on top of my vocabulary. So if you've handwritten this in, it'll be nice and easy to tape these down on top. So again, just like the notes for 10-4 and 10-6, I have some formulas that we printed out for you so you didn't have to write them down, and this is for a regular pyramid and for a right cone, so no obliques showing yet. Again, it's really important for me to identify my base. Base doesn't always mean bottom. Base is a specific type of face. So in this case, I happen to have a square pyramid. And again, we talk about big P meaning the perimeter of that base, and L being the slant height. So I think if I could slide down the pyramid, slide and slant. That's kind of my way of keeping it together. And then, of course, we are talking lateral surface area and total surface area. And on the cone, again, identifying your base. I like these because all the bases are circles, and that's an easy formula. This one can change with my polygon. So again, we have an L, a slant height. So if I was going to slide down the outside of this cone versus a height that I may have to later find that's going to be on the inside. And we'll find those when we're talking volume. All right. So I want to jump right into the examples. So if you've already folded your example paper, they're all being folded the same for this whole chapter. Just make sure that you can see number 1. And then when you open it up, you're going to see 2, 3, and 4. And I'm actually just going to tape these right on top of my vocabulary words. And when you do that, you can flip it up and see your vocabulary. That's because I'm going to put 10-7 on my left-hand side. So get it all folded. If you need to pause, then pause. And I'm going to go ahead and start on our examples. Okay, so rounding this to the nearest tenth if necessary. And if you didn't write down the formulas in your notes to find lateral, we're going to do half big P, which stands for perimeter of the base, times that cursive L, which is the slant height. And for surface area, anytime they don't tell you lateral, then you know it's going to be total. All I'm having to add in would be the area of the base. 1/2 big P times L plus area of the base. And these are on your formula charts. It's just knowing how to use them. So let's say if we can plug everything in. And if you want to hit pause and try it for yourself and then come back and check your answer, that would be mighty fine also. So let's see. 1/2 stays 1/2. Perimeter of the base, well, if one side's 5 and 5 and I have a quadrilateral, I know it's going to be a square base. So 5, 5, 5, and 5. So I have a perimeter of 20. And my L they gave to me in this case is 9. And they're not always going to give it to you. You may have to use a little Pythagorean theorem to find those heights or altitudes of those lateral faces. So now it's just a matter of calculator. 1/2 times 20 times 9 should give you 90 feet squared. What's cool about total, once I've found the lateral, I can plug that piece in, and now I'm just finding the area of the base. So since it's a square, 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25. And now it's just a matter of adding these up, and you can add those up for yourself. All right, so let's open it up. Now I have a different type of pyramid. This one is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexagonal pyramid. It has a hexagon as a base, so a hexagonal pyramid. Again, it's still the same formula. And then for the total also. And notice totals, I am going to have to find the area of that base. So again, with my, can even replace this, 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Notice these two perimeters are the same. So if you want to substitute in for your formula, finding that area of the base. So let's say if we can find lateral. So if you want to push pause and try to find it on your own, I'm going to do it real quick for you. So 1/2 perimeter, let's see, I have a side length of 2. 2 times 6 is 12. Check my math. And then slant height, they went ahead and told me was 6. You can punch all that in your calculator, and hopefully you get 36 meters squared. All right, so it sets me up for total. Here I have total surface area, or TSA. So I already have my 36 meters squared. Now I just need to find the area of my base. Oh, they kind of helped me out. Look at this. They went ahead and gave me that my apothem is radical 3. So I have 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter, so 2 times 6. And when I throw this in, I'm not going to throw it in my calculator yet because I like to round at the very end, but 1/2 times 12 times radical 3 should give me 6 radical 3. Now I'm going to throw all this in my calculator, and I can round to the nearest tenth or hundredth or whatever they would like. If I want an exact answer, here's my exact. All right, so one last example. I'm going to leave one on your own. I'm going to do one with the cones, and then you can do one with the cones. I find lateral and total surface area as a cone, leaving it in terms of pi. Big key thing there. If they say things like exact answer or terms of pi. So here it is. Here's my base. Identify it. And my formula, if you didn't write it on your little paper up here, let's look to our formula chart. Here it is. Whoops, finding mine. Cone, it says pi r slant L. And then I know all I would have to add in is the area of the base. So if I write it, pi r slant L plus pi r squared. It's the same as the pyramid. Remember, pyramid 1/2 times the perimeter. Perimeter is 2 pi r. And then the L. And then area of the base. And how do I find the area of a circle? So easy peasy, right? Easy as pie. So let's see if we can do it now. Lateral, we said, again, pi r L. So pi is pi. What's the radius in this case? Radius of the base, and that's 3. Slant height. If you can't read it, it looks like an 8. So we're going to call it 8. Could have been a 3, but I'm going to call it an 8. And then leaving in terms of pi, all I have to do is say 3 times 8. Tack on the pi. Tack on my units. And these are units squared. Don't say pi squared. Surface area is going to be nice and easy because all I have to add is the area of my base. And I do that with pi r squared. One base, so pi r squared would be 9. Now these both have a pi, so I can add these up. 9 plus 24 should be 33 pi. And then, of course, inches squared. Make sure you're checking my math. Help me out. And make sure we don't have any mistakes going on. Okay, so that leaves you problem number 4 to try on your own. Again, it gives you the L, the slant height, and it gives you the radius, and you should be able to find lateral and total from there. So, you're ready for 10-7. This is the volume of pyramids and cones, and I'll see you on the next video.